Well, hello, beautiful ones. I'm Cindy, astrologer, medium, and guide through the stars. And I need you to know you do not need to be an astrologer to understand what I'm about to share. I will walk you step by step through this Virgo solar eclipse at 29 degrees. And this is going to be happening on September 21st, 2025. So, this is not just another new moon. Solar eclipses are new beginnings with karmic weight. And because this eclipse is aligned with this south node, you see the south node in Virgo, it brings endings that make space for destiny's next chapter. Okay? So it's also, this solar eclipse is the final act in this trilogy that the universe has been weaving all month. It started with that Virgo New Moon, and I will put that up here for you. That was at 0 degrees on August 23rd. I've got that video and I'll set it here. This is where the seed was planted. Okay. Then we're going to, on September 7th, because I'm releasing this video early, on September 7th, we're going to have that Pisces Lunar Eclipse. Okay. I will also put that up here or at the end of the video. Okay, and it's very interesting because the new moon was at 0 degrees. This Pisces lunar eclipse is at 15 degrees. Okay, and what it's doing is it's going to clear, it's the purge. So it's destiny pulling you forward. That's what's going to be happening here. Okay, now then we come to this Virgo solar eclipse at 29 degrees. So we have the 0 degrees, we have the 15 degrees, and then we have the 29 degrees, which is an anaretic degree. 0, 15, and 29, those are all important degrees. And it's interesting that it's doing it this way. So Virgo solar eclipse at 29 degrees, this is the culmination. This is the closure and the reset itself, okay? This is the universe saying you can't carry perfectionism, control, or old systems forward. Okay, a new order must rise. You can see that out in the world. You can see that in your personal life. Okay, and this new order isn't just being whispered, it's being enforced. Okay, because Saturn over here retrograde at 28 degrees by the time we hit the solar eclipse in Pisces stands opposite of the solar eclipse. Okay, in Virgo, testing the harvest. That's what Saturn's going to be doing, testing the harvest. Saturn asks, did you build on illusion or on truth? And anything that's false cannot cross this threshold. It's not going to go forward. I'm telling you right now. And in the next few minutes, I'll show you what this means for the world, for your sign, and for you. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what the eclipse is. All right, a solar eclipse is a new moon supercharged, right? Reset point, a portal of new beginnings, right? But because this one is so close to the south node in Virgo, the south node in Virgo, it doesn't just open the new, it's closing the old too. Okay, and it's making room for the new. So this is the final degree, 29 degree. This is a really important, the anaretic degree. What this is the crisis point of completion. Like it's got to complete, okay? And these are portals, so it's moving you into that direction, right? The south node here says the karmic harvest is done. There's no need to be taking it forward, okay? It's time to release the over control, the endless analysis, because analysis becomes paralysis if you overdo it, right? Perfectionism and systems that no longer serve you, okay? That no longer serve this world, that no longer serve society, that no longer serve you. Those all have to go, okay? Now, solar eclipses, you'll feel this energy for 4 to 6 months. What happens here unfold all the way into early 2026. Now let's talk a little bit about the story arc. And I said a little bit about it, but this is the completion of the September eclipse trilogy. Virgo at the Virgo New Moon at 0 degrees, that was the clean slate. And also it started seeding something. It was the seed of order. Okay. And then we have this Pisces lunar eclipse at 15 degrees, right? On September 7th. That's the karmic purge. That's destiny pulling you forward. So if something's been holding you back and you kind of know what these things are that are holding you back, it's going to pull you forward. You're going into this new direction. All right. Now, and then we have this Virgo solar eclipse at 29 degrees, right? That's the karmic closure, right? What ends here cannot follow. It's just, it can't. Okay. Virgo planted the seed. Pisces washed it away if it didn't belong, and Virgo now delivers the final harvest. Okay, so you will still have closures here, but it's making room. You'll have like openings all of a sudden too, opportunities, things will happen. This is the universe closing one chapter so the next can fully open. All right, now let's look at the sky itself on this day, beautiful ones, because every planet is adding its own voice to this Virgo solar eclipse at 29 degrees. All right, so the sun and moon at 29 degrees, which is what an eclipse is, right? But it's conjunct, so it's talking closely to the south node at 18 degrees Virgo. So this is a karmic reset at the anaretic degree, right? The crisis point of completion is where it's landing, right? This is the end of Virgo's karmic harvest. So that overworking, that perfectionism, and service that becomes sacrifice. The south node here is saying, you've done enough. You don't have to do anymore. You've done enough. The cycle is complete. Okay? What ends here makes space for the next chapter. Okay? This cycle is done. That's what this is about. Okay? And because this is a solar eclipse, as it's telling you it's done, it also plants a seed. Yes, a karmic closure is happening, but a new beginning is born at the same time. Okay? The seed of Virgo's higher gifts is being sown now. So clarity without control, healing without burnout, devotion without sacrifice. This is the fresh Virgo you are being invited to embody. So what ends here is making space for this next chapter. All right. And then we have on the same day, Mercury in Libra at 6 degrees. This is the messenger, and the messenger has moved into Libra, where the mind is concerned with balance, diplomacy, and relationships. Okay. So right now, and at this time, words spoken now carry karmic weight because we're dealing with a solar eclipse. Okay. So it does carry karmic weight. Choices in partnership matter right now. Harmony in communication will either open the door or it will slam it shut. Okay. Then we're going to have Mars at 29 degrees, which is another anaretic degree. We're ending things. All right. So Mars at 29 degree Libra, a warrior at a critical degree. Mars here pushes for decisive action in relationships, in justice, and in balance. I'm just going to let you know, if you've been holding back, this eclipse will press it. It will press the confrontation forward. Okay. The scales must be leveled. This is 29 degrees. And that must be leveled, even if it requires courage to do so. Okay. And that's where Mars will help you out, to give you the courage. All right. Then we have this Venus at 2 degrees in Virgo. And if you want to see my Venus, to understand Venus and how to work with her within you, I have this series that I'll put up here. Okay. So Venus is starting fresh in Virgo, bringing refinement. And remember, Venus is, well, if you watch my videos, you'll understand Venus is magnet. She's a magnet. So as you're closing out, you're bringing in that refinement to love, to value, to worth. Okay. This is devotion in its purest sense, not sacrifice. Okay, that's the old paradigm. That's the old cycle, right? It's not sacrifice, it's alignment. What are you aligning with? What are you magnetizing? What vibration are you? Right? Venus here is asking, is what you've been giving your heart to truly nourishing you? Or are you just checking the boxes? Okay. Then we're going to have Jupiter. I mean, Jupiter makes everything huge, but she gives you blessings and she has luck and she has wisdom. And especially in Cancer at 21 degree, this is the great benefic blessing. The great benefic blesses this eclipse with emotional expansion because she makes everything bigger. Jupiter in Cancer nurtures family and home and belongings. It promises protection through endings. So as you're ending, you are being protected. As you release the old patterns, Jupiter says, you will be held and provided for. Okay? Then we have Saturn right here at 28 degrees in Pisces, right? The final karmic sweep before Saturn crosses back into Aries. It's ending. We are ending things, okay? This is not only the end of a cycle, it's the closing. Remember, and I will put that video up here of the lunar eclipse where I said it's closing a 30-year karmic cycle. So think back to the mid 90s if you're old enough. The last time Saturn was here, patterns from then may now be completing. Saturn's whispering, this weight is not yours to carry anymore. You don't have to carry this anymore. Okay. And Saturn at 29 or 28 degrees Pisces isn't just quietly nearby. Remember, it is standing directly across, opposite of this eclipse on that day. This is karmic accounting. If Virgo at 29 degrees has carried the weight of perfectionism and over control, Saturn in Pisces now says, release that illusion. Release the suffering you confused for service. Oppositions, remember, are mirrors. And this one shows you the cost of carrying what was never yours to carry. And then we're going to, on the same day, we have Uranus at 1 degree retrograde in Gemini. Okay. So Uranus has just entered Gemini in July, beginning a 7-year revolution of thought, communication, and connection. And at 1 degree, that's the first degree. This is the crack of thunder at the doorway. Okay. So you need to be expecting shocking revelations, sudden clarity, and reordering of how you think and speak. We are going to be discovering this for the next 7 years. Okay. But this is the crack of it. So this is the lightning strike that sets you free. You're going to be receiving clarity. Okay. The way that you thought you were thinking last time, or you had this way of thinking, you're going to see it very differently. And you may even find yourself speaking differently, communicating in a different way. Okay. So then we're going to have Neptune at almost 1 degree, 0 degree, and 48 minutes. So it's almost at 1 degree. And she's retrograde as well. She's going to go back into here because we're finishing these things up. Right? So Neptune here is stirring a brand new collective dream. And that dream is spirituality through action and identity, right? The last 14 years were about understanding who we are spiritually. Now it's about incorporating that and who am I becoming? So retrograde at 1 degrees, it feels like a whisper though, more than a clear vision. Because you kind of have an essence. We kind of all do have I kind of see what I want to be, but we haven't opened, it's not clear yet. Okay. So it's more of a whisper than a clear vision, but the whisper is enough to let you know that the dream is alive. A new I am is being born, even if it hasn't found its words yet. And then we're going to have Pluto at 1 degree retrograde in Aquarius. So you can think of this as beneath all of this conversation, beneath all of this energy that's going on, Pluto is holding that bass note. It's the great transformer. And the great transformer has just began. It's like 19 years in Aquarius. This is rewriting the collective systems, truth, technology, and power. Retrograde at 1 degree, Pluto is reminding us it's not just personal lives changing, humanity itself is being rewritten and reforged. And you guys could see that. We can all see that happening. This is revolution at the root of society, unfolding step by step. Now that we kind of understand how they're speaking, this energy that's going on, let's talk about these collective things that could be happening. All right. So, what does this Virgo eclipse at 29 degrees really mean for us as a collective, beautiful ones? What does it mean? At its core, this is closure at the South Node. Virgo has carried the burden of perfection, of order, of analysis, of systems for too long. And at 29 degrees, the anaretic degree, the cycle reaches crisis and conclusion. Okay. So what ends now is not negotiable. It is karmically complete because Saturn opposes this eclipse. The endings aren't just emotional, and the endings aren't optional either. Okay. Saturn ensures that what collapses now cannot be rebuilt the same. Illusions will dissolve. What was too heavy, unsustainable, or false, it simply will not carry forward. It's not in here. We're coming to a new identity, all right? Even as a collective society, as the world, you can see it all over, all right? So collectively, this could look like the end of broken systems, outdated structures of work, okay, outdated structures of healthcare, outdated structures of bureaucracy and control. These are all dissolving. Virgo's shadow can no longer hold it, okay? It will not hold these systems together. Collectively, this could also look like perfectionism and overwork is being released. That culture is no longer going to be part of us, okay? So the cultural obsession with productivity at all costs, it's reaching a breaking point and you can see it out in society. A new rhythm of service and healing is being called in. So remember this. This, even though we're going to have the completions, this is a solar eclipse. It means we have gains, right? So it doesn't only close the doors, it plants the seeds. The new Virgo way begins here. New approaches to work, new approaches to healing and to services that are sustainable, that are balanced, that are infused with compassion rather than control. Partnerships adjusting, right? With Mercury and Mars in Libra, this eclipse also highlights karmic choices in relationships, in justice, and in diplomacy. The scales must be balanced. And that means globally and personally, all right? Also, a karmic harvest. This is the universe saying, the work is done here. Take what nourishes you and release the rest. Let it go. And remember, this eclipse doesn't vanish overnight, right? Its effect, remember what I've said, its effect will unfold over the next 4 to 6 months. And this is going to be carrying us into early 2026, all right? So all of this happening against the backdrop of the outer planet shifts. Uranus in Gemini, that's a revolution in thought, communication, and technology. Neptune in Aries, that's a brand new spiritual identity. And Pluto in Aquarius, that's a collective power and truth being rewritten. This is not just an ending for you, it's an ending for us all. The world is closing one chapter, and a new era is already beginning. You guys can see it. We can all see it. All right. Now that we kind of get the themes of what could be going on out in the world, let's talk about the signs and how they're affected. So I'm going to talk about the mutable signs first. That's Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, and Sagittarius. All right. If you're sun, moon, or rising, you are standing directly in the eclipse beam. Like it is beaming at you. Okay. So Virgo, this is your eclipse with the sun and the moon at 29 degrees Virgo. Conjunct that conjunct that south node, you are facing karmic release at the root of your identity. Okay. Old patterns of perfectionism, over service, or being the fixer, those are going to be ending if they haven't already started. But remember, because this is a solar eclipse, it's also the seed of the new Virgo, the new you, one that chooses sustainable healing, one that chooses clarity without control, one that chooses devotion without sacrifice. Okay. And with this Saturn opposing over here in Pisces, you may feel like the universe itself is challenging your old patterns. But this challenge is mercy. Saturn is cutting away the illusion so your clarity can actually heal. Okay. Now, Pisces, you're going to feel the counterbalance. Okay. With the North Node in your sign, this eclipse shows you what Virgo control you've absorbed that isn't yours. For you, it's a calling to surrender, compassion, and soul truth. Okay. The door that Virgo closes, you will walk through. Okay. Saturn in your sign opposing this eclipse is a karmic mirror. Okay. So old burdens, that victimhood that you can get, or false savior roles, those are going to be dissolving. Okay. What ends is not yours to carry. Remember that. That's why it's ending, because it's not yours to carry. Okay. Now for Gemini, a little Gemmies, for you, Uranus, with Uranus freshly in your sign and it's stirring your mind, this eclipse highlights your words, your narrative. Now think about that, your narrative, the way that you see things, the way that you understand things, or the way that you thought you did, right? And even your thought patterns. Okay, so old chatter, old things that you believed, and fragmented stories, those are going to fall away. And Spirit is asking, what truth do you actually want to speak into being? Because Gemini, I know that you understand that your words become reality. Okay. And these old patterns, these old chatter things, these things that you tell yourself in your head, those are going to fall away where clarity is going to come in. And then you want to ask, what truth do you actually want to speak into being? Now, Sagittarius, you feel this adjustment of direction, right? So the Virgo Pisces polarity is testing your arrow, right? Is it scattered in 10 directions? Or are you focused on the path Spirit is truly asking you to walk? This eclipse narrows the aim. It's going to make you very clear about which way you want to go. For the mutable signs, the eclipse is a karmic crossroads, right? Release and beginnings happen simultaneously. It's loud, it's personal, and it is destiny. All right. Now, for my cardinal signs, that's Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. You are the initiators. And for you, this eclipse lights up at the core pillars of your life. Okay. So Aries with Neptune at the 0, 1 degrees, it's whispering of a new dream of identity. For you, this eclipse clears away what no longer defines you, so you can become more authentically I am. All right. Now, Cancer, with Jupiter blessing your sign, this eclipse may bring endings in home or family that open up new emotional security. Okay. Remember, you are protected. What is released only makes space for deeper belonging. Okay. Now, Capricorn, this eclipse falls in your career and public sector. Authority roles, responsibility, or goals that have become way too heavy may be released. Okay. So what remains will be more authentic to your true calling. Okay. Remember that as these things happen. So for the cardinals, the eclipse feels like pivot points in identity, in home, in relationships, and career. Not always loud, but undeniably life shaping. Okay. Then we have the fixed signs, which is Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Now, for you, the eclipse energy is less direct, but it's like deeply foundational. Okay. So, Taurus, for you, Taurus in Gemini, so Gemini will soon reshape how you think about money, values, and possessions. But for now, subtle but lasting shifts are beginning to, or you'll be able to under the surface kind of thing, right? It's subtle, but it's long lasting, all right? You'll feel that with the effects of this solar eclipse, all right? Now, Leo, Leo, with Venus having just moved through your sign, this eclipse asks you to carry forward what you truly value and leave behind the masks. Okay? You may feel a shift in love or creative expression that defines your heart path for months to come. Okay? And Scorpio, right here, as the Virgo energy dissolves, you may feel old dynamics of power, of intimacy, or control being released. This eclipse helps you reclaim your strength through surrender rather than struggle. Okay? You just have to be you. Right? Now, Aquarius, as Pluto is in your sign at 1 degree, the Pluto at 1 degree of your sign is the biggest undertone, right? This is foundational. So for you, this eclipse may not roar loudly, but it does shake the foundation of who you are becoming in the collective. Okay? So notice that you're going to have changes in friendships, in groups, or societal roles. Societal roles are beginning their long metamorphosis for you. Okay? So for the fixed signs, this eclipse is quieter, but it's longer lasting. So adjustments to your foundation may not show immediately, but they will prove unshakable over time. Okay, so now for this solar eclipse, let me give you some somatic, some personal guidance, some modalities to use to help you embody this and get you through this. All right, this is what makes me different than every other astrologer. All right, I want to help you move through this energy. Even though you know what's coming, you still need to embody this, help your body get through this, help your nervous system. All right, so let's do sitting down and with a journal on this night, or you can even do it before then. But I want you to ask, what system, role, or identity am I finally done carrying? You can also ask, where has perfectionism kept me trapped? You can also ask, what new foundation do I want to build in 2026? And again, when you get these answers, I want you to just write them. Don't try to edit them. Just see what comes up for you. Okay? Now, the next thing you can do is write down the system, the habit, or the illusion that you're done with. Okay? Once you've answered these questions, what are you done with? This is a ritual or steps to take. Okay? So you're going to write down a system, a habit, or an illusion that you're done with. And then I want you to bury it in the earth. That's a very Virgo is earth, right? So you can bury it in the earth or compost it as a sign of transmutation. Okay? Now, this last thing, the embodiment, choose clarity over chaos, balance over busyness. Okay? I want you to be very aware of this and make a conscious choice to do clarity over chaos. All right? Balance over busyness. Allow yourself to rest if you need to rest. And then rest. Don't be thinking about what you got to do. Okay? So each grounded choice is you actually living this eclipse. and making those changes. All right. Now, beautiful ones, let me leave you with this. This Virgo solar eclipse at 29 degrees is not just an ending, it's the closure of a karmic harvest. Okay. The south node here, it says, what has been completed is complete. Let it go. Leave it alone. The cycle is done. But because this is a solar eclipse, it's also a new beginning. So a seed is being planted, a seed of a Virgo that heals through clarity instead of control, that serves with devotion instead of sacrifice. This eclipse closes the trilogy that began with the Virgo New Moon and the Pisces Lunar Eclipse. The seed was planted, the purge was made, and now the harvest is gathered. And with that Saturn opposing this eclipse in Pisces, we aren't just closing a Virgo chapter. We're laying down the karmic weight that we have been carrying since the mid 1990s. So Saturn opposing the sun and the moon says illusions end here. You don't get to keep the lie. The seed that is planted must be honest, it must be sustainable, and it must align with your soul's truth. This eclipse is the threshold between who you've been and who, my beautiful ones, you are becoming. Endings may feel sharp, but they are merciful, because what comes next requires your hands to be free. I'm Cindy, and it is my joy to walk with you through these universal and cosmic thresholds. So stay close, because the story we are writing now will carry us not just into 2026, but into the next era of our becoming. Until next time, beautiful ones, may you remember the ending is also the beginning.